U.S. judge targeted in his own driveway. There is an urgent manhunt at this hour in Maryland. The suspect is a father.
We got some breaking news. All right, welcome back to Black Irish News. You know who I am, Black Irish. All right, so we got a news report for you. This has been going on for actually a while, and you're going to hear my 2 cents about it. So let's start this off and see what got who triggered.
A little over 12 hours ago, a Washington County judge was shot and killed at his house. Police just gave an update on the case about 30 minutes ago. Our Jess Arnold joining us live right now. Jess, we understand that police believe that the judge was targeted over a recent divorce case ruling that he just issued. Is that correct?
Over a divorce hearing, yeah, Larry, that's correct. They said that that judge had been presiding over a custody hearing that happened earlier that day and that he granted full custody of the suspect's kids to his partner. Again, that press conference.
His partner being his mother. Why don't we just say that? You know what it is. So what this is all about is a father losing their children. And when that happens, it's pretty much nothing else to lose kind of mentality for a lot of men.
Just wrapping up within the last 30 minutes right inside of here. Now, the suspect we're talking about is 49-year-old Pedro Argote. The sheriff said he is considered armed and dangerous, so do not approach him. Instead, call.
I just like how the amount of effort they're putting into letting everyone know how bad this guy is. I mean, look at him. Like, seriously? You really think like this guy? This guy is such a danger to society. And obviously, yes, he unalived someone, but let's be real. You're putting this much effort in. I haven't seen you do that much for someone who's in a urban area who's going on a shooting spree or the mass amount of shootings that go around there. But for some reason, when a judge gets he was deleted and unalive. You now make sure everyone knows because he's an important person, a judge, who changes the lives of families, but most importantly, the children and the men involved.
Authorities. Now, here's who we're talking about. Judge Andrew Wilkinson, and then on the right is the suspect, again, Pedro Argote. In a car similar to the one they think he's driving. It's a silver 2009 Mercedes SUV with Maryland plates 4EH040.
Look at this effort they're putting in. They're making sure everyone sees. It's like a missing child going on right now. It's almost as if this person's important who he deleted.
08. Do not approach him again. If you see him, call Washington County Sheriff's Office. Now, the sheriff, as you mentioned, they said they believe he targeted Judge Andrew Wilkinson because he presided over this custody hearing earlier in that day, during which he awarded full custody of their kids to Argote's wife. But the sheriff did say that Argote was not in that actual hearing. Now, our team also found a domestic violence case in Maryland court records from last June against a man of the same name and age, but that was actually dismissed within the same month. The sheriff said they had also been called out to the home twice for verbal domestic assaults in the last 2 years. Now, let's remind you what happened last night.
So that we have a clear understanding, the assault part, I don't know why that's even there. If it's a verbal, that's just an argument between spouses. And I don't mean jack squat because anyone can call for any reason, and it's labeled that way. So when you go in here and you're saying verbal domestic assault nonsense, it comes off as if somebody was the aggressor. But of course, they're doing it because it makes him look bad. Like he's already bad for unaliving a judge. But let's be real. This is what happens when you want to make someone look bad. You just say, you don't say who put it on who. You just say, put a label on it. Boom. This makes him a bad guy. We know how the game's played.
Night. It was 8 p.m. Deputies responded to the judge's home on Old Waterford Road in Hagerstown. They found him suffering from multiple gunshots in his driveway. He did later die at a hospital. Now, this was also new from that press conference. The sheriff said that the judge's wife and son were home when he was shot. Out of an abundance of caution, law enforcement guarded other county judges' homes overnight, but the sheriff said they don't believe that there is a threat any longer to any of these.
Oh, man, look, the protection these guys get. You get protection just for being a judge. One loses their, you know what, and everyone else gets their protection. It's amazing how enforced the police are to protecting the citizens that pay their salaries. Trust me, I don't think he was after anyone else. He wanted the one that basically screwed him out of his time with his children. I don't know him personally. I don't know anything about him. We know that deleting anyone is wrong unless there's a good reason behind it, like protecting yourself. But with situations like this, like, we know it's wrong. But with that all said and done, it kind of makes you wonder what exactly happened and what caused him to be like this. What happened? I want to know what happened in that court case. And more importantly, I want to know what happened during the relationship. That whole thing with, well, it was a verbal dispute and all this other stuff. You know, you can make a 911 phone call about anything, and then you can come in here and pretty much say this happened. Verbal is just an argument between the spouses, but they have to show up because that's their job. But you label that and put it as assault at the end. I don't know if that's the actual definition or if that's what they have in the police reports, because, you know, the way they have things worded, it's kind of suspect with a lot of things. But anyway, I like to know what the relationship was prior to all this. And I'm talking about the mother. Just because she got awarded full custody doesn't mean jack squat. Doesn't mean that she's a scholar or a good person.
Other judges. The sheriff did say this investigation has been a concerted effort between multiple agencies.
We're a small community here, close knit. So we pull together when something like this happens. So, it was a concerted effort last night. We had more resources than we needed, but that's always a good thing.
Well, at least we don't have to worry about that armed robbery on the other side of town. All the police were protecting all the judges.
So, all the local law enforcement came out.
Yeah, you just heard from the sheriff that this is a really tight-knit community. I talked to other officers who said they all knew this judge. Their kids went to school with him. A state senator showed up to the press conference and said he knew him personally just from living in the community. So the entirety of Hagerstown is mourning his loss this morning. Now, I actually was out all morning by that house out there, the judge's house. We saw investigators come back out searching for more clues, others laying flowers there on the driveway. We'll, of course, continue to keep you updated in the deputy search for Argote. Larry.
All right, Jess Arnold reporting live for us this afternoon. Jess, thank you so much.
All right, so I'm going to end it with this. I don't care. Sorry. The reason why I do is, the reason why I feel like this is because it's sad for the family, but what men go through is why I'm just like, I can't care. Things are slightly changing for political reasons, but the fact that in certain states, women can be awarded custody of children just like that, without question, without having to put any effort into it. And a man has to prove that he's a good father or can be in that child's life. And then if the courts decide, all of a sudden, now you have to prove yourself. Like, that's crap. It's full of crap.
To the U.S. judge targeted in his own driveway, giving the mother
custody of his child through a no contact, no visitation order. And there was a lot of communication going back and forth between the non-sympathizers and those stating that the man actually lost custody because, hence, he was actually dangerous and unstable. Now, I do believe in certain instances in which a mother or father is actually dangerous and unstable to be around the child, then those specific orders or rulings are necessary to protect the child. However, we got to be real about this conversation if we're going to get down to the root cause of these problems. Now, I personally have not read this man's case and do not know why this judge made this specific order, but what I'm attempting to explain is the temperature of society in response to these actions. It cannot be disputed that men experience bias in family courts more than women. Women, who may not be a statistical factor so far as it relates to the bias that men experience overall in family courts, are indeed a factor to the general problem that occurs in family courts through unfair and unjust rulings. And this explains why you see non-sympathizers of both genders. And these non-sympathizers experience firsthand of what occurs in family court when false allegations of threats or danger to the child is held at these individuals, either brought to you by CPS workers, their former exes or spouses, or opposing counsel who wishes to drag out attorney fees in order to increase his litigation expenses.
And let's keep it real. It's a money-making scheme. Family court is not about family. It's not about this. Damn sure not about the kids. It is about making money on the side. That's exactly what that is. The man has to pay. See, it is not that women do have an obligation to pay, and it's not always as strong suited as like men having to pay child support, but it does exist. But men are just notoriously having to pay all the bills. That's what it is. So when the child goes to the parents, it goes to the system. The system gets their cut, but they also give a little bit to the mom. So once you see your check and it goes to the government, they're making money off of this. They don't make money off of nuclear families. And they know to give the woman all the power, because if you don't, women would have to think twice about, one, getting married, two, taking a family seriously. Because you basically are able to give them whatever they want by law, why would they want to keep a family together? They're irresponsible. Why do I say they're irresponsible? When you get emotional, you just want to up and leave. When you get emotional, you make rash decisions. When you get emotional, you go out here saying a bunch of stuff and don't think about the outcome until it's too late. And then by that point, it's already gone as far as it's going to go, and you cannot backtrack it. So you can give the kids. Doesn't matter if you break up the family. You can take them all the house and the money. Doesn't matter if the children are missing their daddy. You can have them basically lose full custody, and you get to pick and choose when you want the kids to be seen by the father. It can be up to you. You can take the kids and go someplace, and you know what? You got to go through the course to prove that what she did was wrong. You do it, on the other hand, you end up in handcuffs if you have a Y chromosome. The bias that comes out of the courts, what I'm trying to say, I want to end it with this, is you're treated as a redheaded stepchild. You will never, ever be able to be treated anything differently. This is a cause and effect. You take away a man's ability and reasons to live, he has nothing to lose in the end. And I'm not wishing this, but I'm foreseeing that this is going to get the way things are going in this world, it's going to get a whole lot worse. And it's not going to happen when civilians are catching deletion. It's going to happen with the judges, the people of higher power. Just like when anytime they want to push a gun control, it's either a school shooting or some politician high up gets affected by something. When they get affected, then all of a sudden we want to jump up and do something about it. But in this situation here, now it's a judge, and we're going to condemn the man, but not think about what he went through before this all happened. Because we're not going to question her, the wife. No. As far as they're concerned, she's innocent. Have a good night, everyone. Stay check.